Yes, I am enjoying a beverage in celebration of my win, my birthday, 2020,
Yep.
fighter of the year, trainer of the year, and we gonna do what we gotta do. Hey guys, it's me, Jessica McCaskill, and my trainer and manager, Rick Ramos. Say what's up.
What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone?
We are here Saturday Night Live doing a little bit of a review of the fight, McCaskill and Cecilia Brækhus. So we're going to give you a play-by-play of the fight, what we thought, what was going on in our minds at that moment.
Yeah. So here we go. We're doing the announcements. Like, what were you thinking, right?
I was very mellow because there was no crowd. I felt like the build up, the actual just visual of everything that they've done was really great. It was really nice. And I think if there was a crowd involved, there would have been too much to really hype me up. So I'm glad there was no crowd. It was a great visual, but I was still able to keep a very mellow kind of like mood.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at right here. It looked like Cecilia was trying to intimidate you with her heavy eyes.
Well, I wear glasses, and of course, when you're boxing, you can't wear glasses or contacts, so I couldn't even see her face across the ring.
That obviously helps. But yeah, so here we go.
What were you thinking right here? Well, I know what you said. But what were you thinking in the very beginning?
I mean, at first, I wasn't trying to make eye contact, not even with Abel Sanchez, but I think like looking over there and like checking him out, I don't know, I guess I don't want to sound rude, but I felt like, man, these guys are old. Like, I felt like everybody over there was old, and I'm like, no, this is our time. I felt like we were hungrier. You know what I'm saying? I felt like they were all already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
They have nothing to prove, and I'm like, man, we're just hungrier. I just felt it. I didn't feel it until I looked over. Remember, I like put my hand on your shoulder, and I was like, yo, it's our time.
Yeah.
They don't want it as bad as I do. I just felt it.
It got really intense, and it just everything you said right there was kind of like encapsulated in this very few words of a sentence that you gave me, and I'll quote you if you don't mind. You were like, look at these guys. They're 90. We should win this. And in that thought, I knew that we were the new era. We were the new fighters and coach.
That was the first thing that came to my head. So forgive me, but that was the first thing that came to my mind.
And we understand each other, so I get what that is. I mean, we're scrapping for everything that they've held for a good distance of time.
Yeah, and I think like right here, I'm just like, man, they're just not hungry. There was just like this arrogance in the room, like
for
there's
sure.
like a cloud of arrogance, like during this whole thing, and I kept seeing everyone working on that side of the corner, and I'm just like, yo, they're old and they don't deserve to be here, and we're gonna show them how hungry we are.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything about that corner made me feel like we got it.
Yeah, they seemed extremely comfortable, and my job is to make the other corner very uncomfortable.
And we definitely did that.
Yeah, that's what I do best. And
So let's enjoy the fight and have some cocktails and
cheers.
Yeah.
Here we go. Let's do it.
Here we go. So right here, I was thinking to myself, like, I have a feeling like Abel's like gonna say something to me, like, because I made no eye contact.
Yeah, he's looking at you there.
Yeah, I think he gave me a little tap and was like, "Hey, good luck," and maybe I didn't expect him to be nice. I don't know.
You're talking to me. Rick always has a thing where he has at least two words to say to you before he gets out of the ring, before you start fighting. He's the last thing in your ear.
Yeah, and I think I said, "It's your night. Don't give it up."
Yeah, I think that's that. Yeah. And she did this thing for the first handful of rounds where she tried to get to the center of the ring before the bell rang, and I think that was just really to pump herself up or to try to intimidate me. And you you rush to get to the center of the ring, but do you know what's going to be waiting for you when you get
Yeah,
there?
no, I think that's like an old veteran move. That's like let me show the judges everyone's circling around me, and then I think she was trying to do like the whole Mexican style thing that Abel Sanchez always teaches his fighters, and I think that she was confused. Like I felt like there was a battle there. She was like,
Hmm.
I think I want to box. I think I want to fight. I'm not sure what I want to do. And then when you got in close and made it rough, she definitely didn't know what to do. Like, there's no real defense here, and
No.
and I don't know. I guess maybe I was just shocked by like the lack of like will in her punches.
Yeah, right about here, halfway through the first round, I realized in my movement that their game plan was to come forward. And we prepared for either her being on the bike and throwing a lot of jabs or her coming straight forward. And I realized, okay, she's coming straight forward, so let's just go for it.
Right. And right here, I'm just like pressure, pressure, pressure. I could tell early she was uncomfortable, really early. And if you look really close right here, if you look at the side of her face, it's like red. And so I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
she can't handle clear, clean shots.
Yeah, I think I gave her a lot of angles very early on that she was not used to, whether it be from far out or whether it be from down low coming up. She wasn't used to those punches, and she wasn't used to someone punching on the clinch, which
Right.
I was really surprised by because when she did hold me, it wasn't in a way to stop me from punching. It wasn't in any kind of like forceful way. And it gave me so much leeway that I took advantage of that.
Right. She would touch you and pull out, touch you
Yeah.
and pull out. Like, see, she's touching you
And
and she
back,
pulls out.
back up,
Yeah.
back up. Got herself on the ropes a few times, smart enough not to stay there, but still she was on the bike not because she wanted to be, but because she was forced to be.
Yeah. So right here, I think I'm like, hey, how's her power? Do you feel her strength? And you're like, nope,
No
nope.
issue with the power. Felt very good, very confident. Didn't you know? So the thing about Tulsa, we were fighting on the street, and it was very very humid and hot earlier that day.
See, look at, and she was pushing your head down a lot. Look at the elbows, a lot of veteran stuff she tried to pull.
She still got hit with about 3 shots in the effort of holding me down,
Look
though.
at, like, right there. That to me is like, if that was you, I'd be nervous. Like, she doesn't want to be here,
No,
and it doesn't look like Abel has control. It looked like there might have been some friction there, or maybe like miscommunication, or no
no connection.
camaraderie,
Yeah,
no camaraderie. So I felt like right away, I'm like, she doesn't look like she wants to be here. Stay on
yeah,
her.
yeah. That was almost the beginning of the end there, just from her physical output in the corner.
I think if I would rather have you a little lower. I know sometimes it feels like you're too low and she was too tall,
Mhm.
but I think if you're like bend those knees a little bit and punch, I think she'd be out of there.
And that was the thing is I was bending at the waist instead of bending at the knees. And sometimes when you start something in a fight like this, you kind of hold on to those bad habits and you don't adjust very well. There were some other adjustments that I was able to make. Like in the very beginning, I was moving and then we realized she was coming forward and we wanted to come forward. So I made that adjustment. But sometimes all of the adjustments that you want to make don't always happen. She seemed to have a very good opening for the left hook.
Or like right there, she was just like unwilling. Yeah, yeah. I was screaming in Sergio Mora. I was like, body, 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 because she just seemed like she just, look at her. She was uncomfortable.
She
She's
just wanted to
holding.
hold.
If you look at the left arm of Jessica, she's holding. So that's like a little veteran. She was trying to pull a lot of little veteran moves that we
Yeah.
practice. Like, she holds, just don't stop punching.
Yeah, we definitely prepared for that, and you'll see it in later rounds where it's really going to come through. But we definitely prepared for that. Hands are low.
I think I was a little shocked by how much she bit on feints. You feint her and she would jump. She would be
Yeah,
real like jumpy.
over precautious, less visual, and more just like just reactive. You know.
I knew, and earlier in training, I'm like, we have to win 4 of the first 5 rounds, and we'll win the fight. And I'm glad we stuck to the game plan. I felt like you just kept touching her in the clinches. She didn't know what to do, and I
Yeah.
think that's something that a lot of fighters don't practice, and
Yeah, they don't practice being rough. They don't. I mean, we don't teach holding at our gym,
no.
but if someone is holding, we'll fight out of it. That's the best learning position is to learn how to fight out of that.
And again, look at like she doesn't look too confident. The guy on the bottom right in the corner, he definitely see there was a nice like chest punch followed with a good hook. A lot of the, I mean, she did hit you, but I felt like she was like arm punching.
Mhm. A
See,
lot of times the combinations were equal for punches because I would come back one, she would come back with one, very equal in that sense. And then there were some where she just wasn't ready because her hands were so low. I got a lot of left hook.
see, and right there, I'm saying if you start low, make sure you finish high.
Hmm. The connection, even just look at the eyes of the fighter and the coach in her corner versus our corner. Like there is communication that we have that we
Yeah,
don't even have to say, and we're just right on point. Coming
like,
forward.
and she's just really, really antsy. Like, oh, I gotta be alert. I gotta be alert. I gotta be alert because she's never had to mentally work so hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very happy with a lot of my punches because not only were they fast in the early rounds, in early rounds, I'm talking like anything before 4 or 5. And not only were they fast, but they were a lot very strong compared to kind of how my first couple of rounds usually start.
Right, and I don't think like she understood how strong you are.
Oh
I don't think any fighter does. And
no,
again, I think when you fight, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, she's sloppy, this and that, until you get in with her.
yeah,
And meaning like you're stronger physically, just physically stronger than a lot of these girls.
yeah. I mean, they think they have a plan until they get hit. Mike Tyson, you know.
Right, so they get punched in the face.
Yeah, and then they don't really know what to do. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna look for you. I'm gonna be like searching for you. Just
So
looking.
even to like the situation where like right here you're like touching her, and you don't give her time to think, and I think that's really big.
Yeah, our reaction time, just based off of how we train, like you say, second effort, third effort. So you create a combination, and then you don't give them time to think or breathe, and you come back with a second effort. You come back with a third effort after that because they very well could be hurt. They could be hurt, and then if you get that second or third effort in, then that's when you can dominate the fight, even get a knockdown.
So here, like right here, see, like, watch. We'll start on an open frame. Wait, hold on. Like, see, like you're busy, you're staying busy. Like right here, you'll touch her, right? And then that jab right there is a second effort, and then this right here is the third effort.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
a good
don't think
left.
people understand the effort, like the levels of effort, right? So you touch, pull, touch, and people just throw a combination and try to pull out.
A,
Look at here, her arms are
arms
out.
on the
Yeah,
ropes. Yeah. You will never ever see me put my arms on the ropes. I will give you $1,000 if you can find tape of me putting my arms on the ropes. It won't happen. Because not only is it a mental thing for yourself, it's a mental thing for your team. They're going to think, oh, she's tired, she can't continue. It's a mental thing. If they can see you from the other side of the canvas and they see you with your arms up, they're going to think, oh man, this girl is done. So you have to fake it until you make it if you have to.
and I really don't believe that Abel thought that they could win this fight. I really don't believe that. I think he's a smart enough guy to he's been in the game long enough that the styles didn't match. But I think he was just trying to talk her into the fight, and she just never showed up.
Yeah, I would agree. I think he wanted her to have a lot of what I was offering.
See, like that. See that even the second effort, just mentally, after you do a combination, you step to her with another one or two more punches, and I think the second effort and the third effort like was playing with her mind a lot. And again, they talk about her training in Big Bear. And listen, for any fighters watching out there, listen, it's 2020. You can wear a $5 mask that can give you the elevation of Big Bear, so you don't have to pay 20,000 for 8 weeks or whatever they charge.
Exactly.
It's you don't
It
need it. You don't need it for
work
real,
smarter, not harder.
for sure. And I think the isolation of being up in the mountains, kind of played with their mind too. And those were the things that I was talking about publicly.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. I honestly don't think, there's a comparison of her training camp versus our training
No,
camp. And
no.
I say training camp because we don't have a camp. We're always in the gym. It's a daily, it's a lifestyle. And if this is what your profession is, it should be a lifestyle. That way there's no coming off of
Well,
it, there's no
and
getting back.
another thing too is like when you have the whole public and the whole boxing world calling you first lady every 3 minutes, which by the way, stop. First of all, stop. And second of all, it's like if you ever have everyone calling you, like if everyone calling me the man, you're the number one dude, you're the number one dude, I'm gonna start to believe it. So I'm gonna be like, I don't really have to do anything because everyone keeps telling me I'm the number one
I'm
dude.
already there. And yeah,
So when you get people that are hungry, you know what she needs? She just needs to be put in a situation to where she's the lowest person in the gym, and
yeah.
she needs to go back to being hungry again.
If
And
she came to your gym today, what would your training be for her?
I honestly, I give it, if she was to come to us and be like, hey, I want to be a part of, us, I would just be like, yo, we got to put you through the grinder. I need to make her cry. I need to put her through that grinder and see if she really wants this. If she gets through the first month with me, which is 50-50, um, I don't know. I think I'd change her whole career. But, I think when you're praised so much and so hard by everybody, even the belts that we brought home like had her name on it. Like this is like nobody had confidence in us, and I don't know. That's just the whole other story. But like
And
I don't know how you felt.
what he's saying is not for Cecilia. He makes all of us cry. He's put all of us through the grinder. He's broken.
I've cried.
Yeah, he's
Fuck.
cried with us.
Right.
Like he's broken us all down to a point where we can now rise up in
Right,
our
like
own specific way.
right, like so right here in the corner you see she's broken.
Yeah,
Like you know what I'm saying? You need to be broken in the gym so you're not broken in the fight.
exactly, exactly. Okay, let's talk about Oklahoma for just 2 seconds here.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot and humid, and I'm sure there's no humidity in Norway, and there's definitely no humidity in Big Bear, in California. So up in the mountains, so you're talking like they weren't prepared for this stuff. We're from the Midwest. It's
Yeah.
humidity all the time. So
Yeah, we have regular 90-degree days. I cut my lawn in about 90-degree days, and
right,
so I didn't. I mean, we did get about a 10-degree drop from the fight before us to our fight,
yeah, there was for sure.
and so I felt like that was no issue. But for someone who's not used to even that, that could have been a factor in her preparation. You go somewhere, you spend a lot of money, and it doesn't even give you the effect of the fight that you're preparing for. So that's
Like
unfortunate.
even here, like, you're just being rough and rugged with her. She did land some shots, right? Obviously, you didn't. It wasn't like a blowout. But I'm just saying, like from a physical standpoint, it's rough. It was rough, and she wasn't used to rough, And I think like people understand. People said, "Oh, Justin looked that good," or whatever. But when you get someone who's so perfect, picture perfect, you kind of want to make them uncomfortable.
Yeah,
Like the first Katie Taylor fight, nobody wanted to fight Katie. You did,
yeah,
and you laid the blueprint on how to beat her.
yeah.
And I thought that fight was a lot closer than the judges said. But we were in Europe, and I think possible rematch, we stop her.
Yeah, I don't think she's gonna. I think a lot of this fight
Beautiful hand.
tells you what is in store for Katie going forward. Even that the punch output, they said I threw 230 more punches than Cecilia, and
Mhm.
you'll see that when you see me throwing, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and she hasn't even thrown back yet.
Yeah, right.
She hasn't answered a lot of my combinations.
Yeah, I don't think she was. Again, if she came to our gym, I think she would. I count punches. I'm sitting there with a
Yeah.
clicker, counting every single punch you throw. So I
Wait,
understand.
wait, wait, wait. He counts punches. He doesn't tell you your number. He just says you need to do more or you're looking okay. Like so nonstop, you're pushing, you're pushing, you're pushing. And that's in the 3-minute round. And so of course in a female 2-minute round, you're gonna naturally pump that number up as much as you can. And so there's never any specific gauge.
I
It's just do the best you
I
can.
honestly feel like the whole boxing world is old. I feel like everyone, like the judges, everybody's old. So like when they see the high pace, the pressure, the come forward, a billion punches, everybody's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, because these older fighters from the era before you is like not training like that.
No.
I guarantee like some of the older trainers aren't sitting there with clickers. I got clickers on top of clickers on top of
We
clickers.
got clickers we haven't even opened yet because we want to stay ready with the clicker.
Right? In case one breaks, I got 8 of them
Exactly.
in the backup.
And the combination that you saw right before the break there, you saw me like hold on to her with my left hand. I think I threw like a right, and I stepped over and held her with my left hand because I didn't want her to go too far because I wasn't done punching. And I wanted to get some more combinations off. I mean, you'll see a lot of angles. You'll see, punches moving, rolling punches from down low, punches from up top. I mean, the output that we train to have is
Yeah.
pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like I just think she even if you throw like even if she was busy with the jab, right? Even if she was using her old style, the pace was just too much for an old fighter. She's
And
39 years old
and
now.
we talked about this.
Yeah,
50% of what we had trained for, we executed, and the other 50%,
yeah,
she
they got there.
didn't give us that starter to do it. We were
Right.
expecting a lot more jabs, and we had a lot of counters off of the jab. She didn't
Yeah.
throw the jab, so we kind of had to adjust for
I
that
think I
and keep
think
going.
I think at this level, I'm shocked by the lack of defense that Katie Taylor had, that Cecilia Brækhus had. I'm just shocked by the lack of defense. I mean, obviously, like they bust your chops about like, oh, Jessica, whatever. But okay, still. But those girls have, over 100 amateur fights. Both of them. Those girls have. One girl has a medal. So like, you got to like if you're going to compare amateurs, then compare amateurs. Jessica has very few amateur fights compared to those girls, and look where you're at, and look where they were.
And
You know what I
if
mean?
you want to talk very specific numbers, she landed 85 shots.
84 punches.
I landed 84.
No, you landed 85 to 84.
So the comparison, if you want to put her on this pedestal of being, very superior in one way or another, that should have been a landslide in the
Yeah.
fans' eyes,
Right, right.
and it wasn't. So
And another thing too, speaking of fans, when you're the A side, when you're the A side, you get a lot of media, you get a lot of fans, you get a lot of fan support, you get a lot of media support, you get a lot of attention, which makes your confidence rise. When you're in the bubble,
when you're in the bubble,
when you're in the bubble, you don't have the attention, you
there's no
don't get the fans.
there's nobody. You see them beyond the rope. There's Jimmy John.
Right.
That's it.
No, and I get that, but I'm saying like that played a role. Like people aren't stroking their ego, so
Nobody's there.
Abel wasn't able to. We weren't able to hang out at all until the last 2 days.
Right.
So it was like she wasn't getting, attention from even Abel. Abel wasn't able to get in her mind to hype her up. The crowd, the media, everything's on Zoom. So it's like if you're not used to the isolation, then being the A side does not matter when there's no crowd.
It gives you an equal playing field,
For
which
sure.
which
For
is
sure.
is good.
Right, and that's why I was like, never stop working, never stop pushing. During the quarantine, we have to keep working, and we'll beat Cecilia Brækhus. And everybody told me it's crazy.
Yeah, it was so quarantine went into effect around April 15th. No, May 15th. Fight
March
was
15th,
March 15th. Fight was scheduled for April 17th.
Yeah.
I thought quarantine was going to be about 2 weeks. Clearly, it went way beyond that. And so that puts you in this mindset as a fighter of
Wait, are you buzzed? I feel like she's buzzed right now. Hold
it
on.
is my birthday weekend. So yes, I am enjoying a beverage in celebration of
Yeah.
my win, my birthday, 2020,
Yo.
fighter of the year, trainer of the year. And we gonna do what we gotta do. We're gonna do it.
But
Yes.
back to the fight.
Sorry.
Yeah, back to the fight. No, for real. Like right here, you're just pushing the pace, pushing the fight, and like see, look at like they don't show it. Like I was even yelling. If you guys listen, I was yelling at Lawrence Cole. He's a good dude, but I was yelling at him.
Right here, her rubber bands came off.
Yes.
Her rubber bands came off her hair. I bust the rubber bands off.
Yeah. So I was all over Lawrence Cole. People could hear me yelling. I think there was someone on Twitter saying, "Yo, Rick Ramos was yelling at Lawrence Cole. Lawrence is a good dude.
Good dude.
No, he was a good dude, but like
Yeah.
he'll let you guys fight.
Yeah.
But I mean, every I feel like at that the elite people like they get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Katie got away with a lot of holding. Cecilia got away with a lot of holding, and if that was us, it would have been a different story.
100%. Every fighter I will ever fight, past fights and going forward, they will hold me because they cannot handle my pace, my power, my punch output. It's
Yeah.
going to happen. But props to Lawrence because he did let us fight, and in comparison to
Yeah, he
other
did, for
other
sure.
refs, I felt like
And
there was no obstruction to
see, that
what
was
was
a nice
going on.
uppercut. See, it was an
We
uppercut, and
practiced that.
right, and then like tongue came out, so I'm like, I thought I thought she stuck her
Over,
tongue out and then got
under.
hit. There you go.
Let me just give you a quick rewind. In the Eric Farias fight in 2018, where I won the first WC belt at 140, I gave that girl 3 uppercuts with right hand in a row, and I thought I was doing some like bad stuff. Like I was like, look at me, and I got back to the corner, and Rick was like, "Don't do that. You go under, and then you go over." So in this fight, I gave her an under, and I gave her over,
That's all I
over,
asked for.
under.
That's all I asked for.
I listen.
I think right here I was just like, yo, we're getting closer. It's crazy, and I don't think a lot of people understand this, but like, there's no ring card girls, and I don't care who you are. Even Abel Sanchez, that's perfect. He proved my
Oh,
point.
he messed it up bad.
Yeah, like, he proved my point. Like, where I'm looking for a ring card girl to see what round it is, and I really don't know. So I asked my corner, who shout out to Mike Rodriguez and Jimmy Sandoval.
Yes,
Shout out to those guys.
they were on point.
Yeah, I was like, yo, guys, what round? And they're like, we're at 8th round, blah, blah, blah. And if you go back and listen, I think the last round, Abel was like, it's the 8th round.
Abel messed it up.
Yeah,
In one of
so
them, he was very off. And it's funny because, if you watch No Days Off on Rick's YouTube page, we had a little bit of a tiff on one of the episodes, and he said something about the rounds, and I said, we got ring card girls. I don't need to know what round it is because we're ring card girls. And this was a prime example of why you have to be very alert in every situation, no matter what is happening. You can't depend on anybody else
no,
because you might not.
that's true. That's true. And
You
you might get a trainer who you really, really like, those big name trainers that all you fighters like sweat.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times they're not as smart as you think they are. And as younger dudes who are hungry, we're on top of everything because we want to have the answer when we ask the question.
Yeah.
So here you go.
So
8th round.
Yeah, we're in round 8.
I'm
and
thinking like right here. I'm thinking like it's close. I think we're up by a round or two, but it's close, and I want to play like the favors. So I don't know what was gonna happen. So I'm like, Jess, pick it up, pick it up, pick it up.
about 3 rounds out, he said, "Do you have 6 minutes for me?" And then another round, "Do you have 4 minutes for me?" And I put as much as I could into these last rounds, which I think definitely paid off. But I think Sergio was definitely asking, why Sergio Mario. He was asking, why did you slow down in those last rounds? And if you pay attention, there's a lot of unanswered punches. I throw a lot of punches that are unanswered, combinations that are unanswered. So I personally didn't feel like I was slowing down. I felt like I was trying to be smart, and I was still controlling the pace, even though the overall pace had kind of descended a little bit, but still I was commanding that pace and
Right.
I
I
was
mean,
taking
obviously,
charge.
the punch stat numbers prove that. And those uppercuts, man, she was again. Look at Cecilia's right arm holding.
Do I get another one? Do I get another? Over the top. I was trying to go over. I was trying to go over.
Look at Cecilia's arm. Her body language. If any fighter does it to me, I'm like, yo, she's
She
checking
looks like
out.
she's
She's
collapsed.
checking out. Again, I think the chemistry wasn't there for them. I think she understood. Sometimes when you have a big name in the corner, sometimes the judges are fans. That was one of the reasons back whatever a year ago, I brought in Stitch Duran because I thought that would help me for the judges. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of like, you do little things, and to help you, to make the corner look better, to make everything look better. I was going to
Yeah.
bring in Joe Cortez for this fight,
Right.
to be our advisor as far as like to be on top of all the referees and blah blah blah. And shout out to Joe Cortez. Shout out to Stitch Duran, he's my dude. But we brought Mikey Rodriguez. He's just he used to train
You've
Stitch
known him
Duran.
since way back.
Yeah, Stitch Duran used to train Mike Rodriguez. So
There you
shout
go.
out to Mike Rodriguez. And obviously my boy and my brother Jimmy Sandoval. He's always been
Yes.
with me since day one. So,
Happy birthday, Jimmy. He just had a birthday yesterday.
so here we are, ninth round. I'm thinking we need to win these two last rounds just to make it clear that we're on top. And I was afraid that the judges were gonna give us a draw.
So what I want you as a viewers to check out is the punches thrown and the punches answered. So people were giving me a grief about slowing down in the last couple of rounds. I didn't move as much. I stayed in the pocket. I moved around and dodged a lot of her punches. So I want you to pay attention to that. And also, if they check out me in the corner, look at the visual between Rick and I and the connection that we have as fighter and coach and how alert I am and ready to go I am versus what you've seen in Cecilia's corner.
Right. I think if they thought they won, if they thought they were doing good, I think they would have. She wouldn't have been so like lethargic, if you will.
Very
Look
that
at
no,
like
that's a
right,
good that's a
yeah,
good
like right here, like there's a constant missing. I was shocked that somebody at who you guys, not us, who you guys call the first lady. How are you not like landing? How are you not throwing 50%?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if that's the case, then Floyd Mayweather is the Jesus Christ of boxing. If you call her the first lady, that's whatever. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. What I'm trying to say is that like I expected more from her. I
Yeah.
expected more from her corner, more from her, more from everything, everyone involved. I was a little shocked by the lack of effort, if you will.
And if you're looking right here, we're in the middle of the street. I'm here to give a complete 100% street fight.
Yeah, and by the way, like there's people like I'm looking at you and I'm looking at there's people in like the buildings like having a beer. Like I look up and like people are like, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Cheers.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. People in like the building, like downtown, wherever you're from.
This is the last round, right?
Yeah.
You see her visual here.
Yeah, and if you guys listen, you can hear Abel say, "What round is like the eighth round?" It was the 10th, and no one in his corner gave him the right answer.
You don't see my hands on the ropes. Me and Rick are focused, eye to eye, communicating.
Like
He's
I'm,
telling me to
yeah,
put it all on line and go for it.
right, I'm not even looking at my cut man. I'm
She
not
still
talking
got
to
a
nobody.
towel on her neck, bro.
Like I'm not even talking to my cut man. My third.
No, it's
Nothing.
you and me. Last round. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm like,
There's going to
Jess,
be
let it all out.
four punch combinations nonstop.
Yeah, there was like I think
One, two, three, four.
two of the judges gave her the last round, which I was shocked.
One, one, two, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I got a lot of grief for slowing down, and you can see me pushing her to the rope, nonstop pushing her to the rope, punches, 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 punches.
Right. Well, obviously that is debunked instantly if you look at the punch count. You threw 500 punches in 10 rounds. Obviously, if you do the math, it's 50 punches in 2 minutes. So that's pretty good. You know. No problem.
Yeah, and at this point, I felt very confident, based off of her body language. And when I say body language, I'm talking body language as a fighter. I can't really even see across the ring during the intermissions of rounds. I had my coach right in front of me. I'm focused on him.
I just like the holding and the push down the neck. I mean, they say, well, just puts her head down. She dips to the side, and I think a lot of people automatically push her down. It's like the reaction.
I will 100% get held for every fight because fighters can't handle my punch count, can't handle the power. They're going to hold to try to counteract that, and that's fine. I'm used to it.
And again, I think a lot of people confuse. Oh, just says she got this power and she don't, but it's strong. Like if you ask Floyd Mayweather, like Marcos Maidana, he was a lot of. He was very very strong for Floyd, and I don't think Floyd understood how strong he was in the first fight.
Mm-hmm.
And he might not punch hard, but he's a strong puncher.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where you are.
Yeah.
And everything that you do is strong. Look at that, was a nice forehead shot right there.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, when the bell rang, you're like, yeah, pretty cool. So here it is. Like right now, like if you see Justin, I'm like, yo, I think we won by a round or two, but I think they're gonna call it a draw, just because like I feel like a lot of these judges, a lot of these people, even the promoters, judges, they're like fans of the A side.
Check out this sip of water right here. You see that? You will never see me as a fighter eat They tried to offer me water right there. I said no, because if there's any chance that there's a judge that hasn't written that last number on their scorecard and given it to the announcer, I want to make sure they know I can fight 10 more rounds if I have to. I'm not going to take water, take my gloves off. I'm going to shadow box. I'm going to shuffle around the ring. I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to look like the winner no matter what.
And again, I'll talk about like the way we train. I challenge the guys and girls. I have guy fighters. Don't get it confused. I do have guy fighters, but I want to make sure that my guy fighters are ready before I turn pro. And you'll see more of me and whatever. But like, I just think like they don't train like us. Nobody does. I'm a numbers dude. I'm out there counting numbers all day long. Everything.
I got crazy angles. I'll eat punches to get my punches off. I just feel if I'm not ahead, then we're equal. I'm not ahead, then we're equal. That's my goal. So we'll throw the same amount of punches, or I'm gonna punch one more than you. That's my goal.
He
Boom.
does uppercuts. He was eating
I'm not
uppercuts.
taking a break no matter what. There's a lot of times when we'll spar with other females and they'll say like, "Hey, in Chicago, well, we're holding. That's like
Well,
the uniform. Like,
right. Well, a lot of these people from who come in, who I fly in for sparring,
mhm,
they're like, "Yo, you got like the guys. I won't say who, but one of the guys from the USA boxing team,
yeah."
the USA Olympic team, hit me up. Was like, "Yo, so and so said that you guys train 3, 4 times a day. Blah 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 blah. Yo, can you call me and can we go over some strategies?" And I was like, "Nah."
I
Like
mean,
I wasn't trying to give the way I train.
you can't give away the gold. I
No,
mean, like, I
no.
mean, and honestly, there have been situations where we have, and it's
Right.
not even been used. It's been taken for granted.
Right. Just because you have the same recipe, don't mean it tastes the same. Remember that. So here we are. I'm thinking like straight up, like they're gonna call it a draw because it's Cecilia and again, and you fighters know what I'm talking about. Some of you judges are like fans, so you're like afraid to go against Abel Sanchez. You're afraid to go against Cecilia Breakout. You're afraid to go against Eddie Hearn because they have them on the A side. And the whole time I'm thinking like, you can't deny us. It's just a draw. Like
And I'm moving, I'm throwing punches, I'm letting you know that I'm still alert, I'm still agile, and I'm still ready to go as an athlete.
right. And look at meanwhile over there, like man, I'm just like, I think I want to hear Sergio. Sergio's my dude, but I feel like he's tough on you sometimes.
Sergio is tough across the board, and he should be, and you should earn his respect. And
Yeah,
I feel
I
like,
like Sergio a lot.
yeah, I feel like we've done that in numerous fights. You know,
I mean, look at Abel. He ready to take a cab home.
Cecilia was like, "Is that Jimmy John?"
So right here, I'm just like, yo, I'm telling my corner like, yo, I think they're gonna give us a draw. That's what I thought.
Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking to myself, will coach be okay with the draw?
I mean, oop, she tried to
There we
say
go.
that.
I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
Yeah, this is like the most grueling moment ever. Shout out to the ring announcer. He sound like my mom. It is.
Even draw. I thought it has to be for me, and you, and and you, and you. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
But I and right here I'm just like honestly like right here I'm just like you know what man everybody if they interviewed me I would have been so disrespectful. I would have been like everybody just stop talking to me like 'cause I'm done. I knew we won this fight. I was comfortable. I was afraid that they were gonna try to like give you a draw, and I was just like, uh,
They
but
look like they're going over the game plan a little too late. And for me, I had a wave of a million different emotions, and I think a lot of that was really released and unlocked when you said a couple days before, decide this fight for you? And it was just like, I kind of just opened myself up to put my whole life in front of this fight. And I felt like, we came through, and I enjoyed it. I embraced all of it. And other fighters that, other pro fighters that are now retired and, long into their retirement, one of the main things they tell me is enjoy the moment. It's here, it's right now, and enjoy it. And you don't really know what that means until you know what it means. It's hard to explain. And that night, the pictures, the tears, the interviews, the ice cream and the beer and the burgers that we had, like all of that really was me enjoying that moment. And it's you can't really put a price on that. So cheers
Happy
to the
birthday.
win. Thank you.
Happy birthday. But honestly, thank you everyone who's supported us from day one. I'm extremely grateful.
For sure.
And the boxing public, the people who didn't take my calls and didn't listen to me,
didn't believe you.
I would like to say something rude, but I won't.
No,
because my mama taught me better.
That's right.
Thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. Shout out to the Zone for always looking out. Shout out to Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, everybody, and shout out to Warriors Boxing for always having my back. We appreciate it. Happy birthday, Jessica.
Here we go. Boom.
Here you go.
Hold on.
Have a good night, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. See you guys soon.